banks are becoming bigger and bigger, and as they do, they're beginning to act more and more like bureaucracies instead of as private companies. In fact, I would say that most government bureaucracies or most state agencies that I work with are more competent and more considerate of their customers than a lot of the banks that I deal with. Now, I deal with banks in a number of different ways, but the way that I'm most familiar with is through real estate transactions and through the mortgage lending process. And what seems to go on is the people handling these transactions for the bank, they really have no grasp of what it is that they're demanding or why they're demanding it. They just know they have a list. There's 15 to 20 different items on the list that they need, and they just demand it from the lawyer, and no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They want the information or the paperwork they've demanded. They treat the borrower in the same way. And, you know, they will not listen to reason. They will not try to work with you if you can't accommodate them. It's either do this or you don't get your money and you don't get your house. I'll give you a couple of examples just from this month alone. So I had a closing recently. It was a commercial closing. I was dealing with the vice president of the commercial lending department, submitted all my paperwork to the bank. And this woman, after reviewing everything, said, well, we're not going to give your client a loan because your paperwork says fiscal year 2018 and we want it changed to 2017. So that means I need to redo all of my paperwork. But the thing that's most frustrating is that we're in fiscal year 2018. It started months ago, started July 1st. Now this person doesn't know that. They're the vice president of commercial lending, and yet they get to bark at me and give me directions, and I need to stop what I'm doing and make whatever sort of arbitrary changes they want. I've got to do it or my client can't get the loan. I'll give you a second example. I have a closing going on at the moment. The bank sends me instructions, says they want a survey done of the property before the closing. So I order the survey. I tell my client it's going to cost $200 and he's okay with that. The bank says after the fact, we don't want a survey. Okay, so I cancel the survey. Then, after telling me no survey, they tell me they want me to certify to the bank that there's no survey issues. I can't do that unless I have a survey. So I had to reorder the survey. I had to spend 15 to 20 minutes ordering the survey, another 15 to 20 canceling the survey, and then another 15 to 20 reordering it. And in the process, I think I look like a fool to my client. But it's really the bank. The bank doesn't understand the process, yet they're throwing their weight around. They're making ridiculous demands and sometimes arbitrary demands. And the whole thing just leads to a lot of frustration on everybody's part, on the borrower's part, on the attorney's part. And I don't think it's going to change anytime soon because regulations are sort of pushing out the small lenders and just these big lenders are sticking around. And like I said, they're becoming more and more like bureaucracies and less like private businesses.